Good morning, good afternoon. I'm not sure about good evening, everyone. My name is Alex. I'm representing GrantForward. I'm going to give you demonstration and some of the instruction and maybe I want to get your feedback as well for GrantForward, for how you deploy GrantForward and how you make sure that your members can find GrantForward when they need to find grants. And then I will talk about how to share and disseminate the grant information. This is very important. Okay, and this is a major use case of GrantForward. Many administrators at the various institutions, they subscribe to GrantForward mainly for the purpose of sharing and dissemination. I'll talk about this. Okay. And finally, I will also talk about how you can actually embed the GrantForward so that you can build up websites independent of GrantForward at your institutional website so that you will be able to announce grants to help your members find grants that are useful, important for your institution at your institution's website. That's the plan today. Okay, so I think we have all audience are administrators. So I'd like to see if this plan is good. Do you have anything specific you would like to hear about? Please feel free to just unmute. You can also use text. Okay, I didn't hear anything, so I suppose the plan is good. Okay, excellent. So then let's get started. Okay, so GrantForward is a funding recommendation and the search service. And when you subscribe to GrantForward mostly from the grant office, and some of you are from the student service office, because GrantForward serve both faculty members as well as students to find a research-oriented grant or scholarship or fellowship. The first thing you should do is to deploy GrantForward so that we can make sure that your members can find GrantForward when they need it. Our experience has indicated that with proper deployment, the usage of the service will be very different. So often we help our members to do some diagnosis why GrantForward is not used to the level of expectation at their institution. We often found that it's because of the deployment. So I'd like to that's the first part. Okay, there are three parts in my discussion here. The first part is about deploying GrantForward. The second part is about share and disseminate grant. And the third part will be about how can I embed the GrantForward at your website. So there will be the third part here about embedding GrantForward. It's not this one. Let's see. Yeah, how to embed GrantForward at your website. So let's go through the first part quickly. These are just a few reminders. Okay, so first you want to build your institutional unit structure. Okay, so if you don't know what this means, let me show you GrantForward here. When your members sign up, I'm coming to GrantForward. Let me log out. So when your users sign up, okay, when you are a member, they sign up without having to ask you. So they enter their email address, say my name at illinois.edu. I'm assuming the institution is illinois.edu. This is UIUC, University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. This is also where GrantForward has been developed. Okay, so the institution name will be displayed. Okay, the institution name will be displayed here, University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, but your user can also select which department, which academic unit which office, which center, such as from graduate college or from geology or from geography, so that you can actually later on tailor your dissemination to certain departments such as advertising. They can also indicate they are students or they are researchers. Okay, so this is important so that our second topic is about dissemination sharing. You will be able to target a specific audience group, such as people in advertising. So this is the first step. Okay, let me log in here. You can do this quite easily in the administrator console. All of our audience today are administrators. You learn about this webinar because you are on our administrator newsletter list. So you should log in. You should see your admission as administrator here. Then you can see this additional tab called Administrator Console. Under this, there is user management. You can manage individual users. You can manage institution unit. So this is the department structure, organizational structure of your institution. So we are a big state university. We have more than 400 departments. People don't hardly know each other in such a big institution. In order to target your dissemination, you want to know what department you have. So you can create this through this tree structure. For example, you can add a new unit. You can rename a unit. You can even associate with each unit. This is a new capability. You can associate with each unit, such as aerospace. You have faculty at aerospace.illinois.edu. This will be a mailing list. Later on, if you disseminate, such as grant list or newsletter, people who are on this mailing list associated with this department will receive your dissemination, even though they may not have an account at GrantForward. Yeah, so you can create this such organizational structure through this convenient interface, about 20 minutes, 30 minutes for about 400 departments. We can also do this for you. If your organizational information is online, we can find it. We'll be very happy to do this for you as well. So this is about organizational structure. Okay, that's the first step. The second step, you want to link to GrantForward. Okay, I won't go into the detail. You can follow the link. I will send you this document as your handout after today's webinar. We provide you text, graphic. We also emphasize you need to link to GrantForward, not only from university's library system under your A to Z electronic resources list. Now, your faculty members and students, they are very busy. They don't know that they can go to the G section in the A to Z list to find the GrantForward. No, you have to link it at where they might be looking for money. That means student fellowship office. That means the grant office. That means office of sponsor program website. That means VP of research website. You should link at all these relevant websites of your university, your college, so they can find it. The next one is embed the GrantForward widget. Okay, let me show you an example. This means that you can embed a search box at your website. By embedding, it means that such a box, search capability will appear at your website. So that will be actually engaging your faculty to just throw in a search. That's what you want them to do, to learn about grants, when they are looking for grants without having to visit GrantForward. So this is a search widget. This is a basic kind of embedding. Embedding here means that adding our capability to your website. And today, in the third part of my discussion, I will talk about how you can actually embed the grant list, grants that you carefully selected, you want to communicate with your members. Such as here, I have this browser open here. This is example of embedding. So this looks like a university website. It seems to be nothing about GrantForward, but actually these are curated grant list, or in this case, it's a newsletter. Okay, I can also embed other things. This is a list of cross-cutting grants. This is what I will discuss in the third part of today's webinar, how you can actually announce grants taken from GrantForward, curated by you at your website. This is another kind of more systematic embedding. The next item, you want to announce GrantForward. Okay, so you want to announce it when you subscribe to GrantForward. And as you know, if you have been a parent, okay, you know that you have to say the same thing many times so that your kids will remember, well, your members are like this. You want to announce GrantForward, if not every year, okay, well, if not every semester, I will say that every year. You probably don't need to announce it every week, okay, but I don't think it's a bad idea, okay? So your members need a reminder. Number one, there are new members, new students. So you want to announce the availability of GrantForward through an email, and we provide you email templates. I want to save time to talk more about dissemination, so I won't go into this. You can see all these links. We will send you this document as a handout that you can follow if you have not done all this. You announce this every semester or every year in September or in January. So your members, your new members can learn about GrantForward, know what they can do. Okay, so now we are getting into the last item, almost last item of deployment. And this is also getting into dissemination. We want you to actually do something to help your faculty member to connect to GrantForward and receive recommendation. This is called auto sign up, auto profile, and this is free of charge included in the service itself. So why do we emphasize this? Okay, the fundamental assumption here is that your faculty members are really busy, even your students are really busy, or they like to think they are busy. They don't have time, 5 minutes each day to come to GrantForward to look for grants. They probably will only be actively looking for grants, a few times, 2-3 times a year. We are making this statement based on our experience. We have done extensive survey. As many as 80% of researchers, faculty members told us that they are learning about grants mostly through emails, through others telling them. This means that they simply getting this from dissemination of some sort. That's why we keep emphasizing dissemination. Okay, yes, 20% of the faculty members will be actively looking for grants, but the other 80%, they look forward to be told, to be educated about grant, okay, what's available to push their research forward. So the first sense of dissemination is personal recommendation. Okay, so what is personal recommendation? Let me give you an example here. I want to come to my email. Okay, so now I'm at my email here, and let me show you an example. So this is a recommendation email coming from GrantForward. This is just look like maybe looking like a newsletter, and let me, because I talk about newsletter, let me put them side by side to compare. I'm coming to my university inbox. Okay, so this is an example newsletter from our Office of Research, College of Engineering. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this kind of email communication with faculty members. Okay, not only that your faculty members are looking forward to receiving such a newsletter. In this case, it's from Office of Research, and this is even not the whole university. This is only College of Engineering. Here's some announcement, followed by carefully curated grants. Each grant has carefully formatted, like the title in boldface, funding agency, NSF, fund number, okay, the key parameters such as award amount and other information, including URL. Okay, so this is what your faculty member, the 80% of them rely on this to learn about grants. And this is also a major responsibility, I would say major capability of a grant office to disseminate this. And often this is a major part of the pre-award, the information process to the first step to let your faculty know about grants. So this is newsletter. I will talk about this as part of our dissemination. However, dissemination, the other kind is this. This email may look like the newsletter here. It's also a list of grants, but it's different in two ways. Number one, it has a name. It has a dear user, a user's name. your newsletter wouldn't be able to specifically address to a specific researcher. This example is for the whole college. Okay. Further, you see the list of grant here has a lot of keywords highlighted, such as data science, model, okay, social network, infectious disease, analytics, platform, let's see, data science, complex data. So from here, you can probably imagine this is a data scientist kind of researcher who is interested in pursuing medical applications. Yes, indeed. And these are the keywords that keep this researcher awake in the night, well, even awake in the day, okay? So yeah, so these are important to tell the researcher why each grant is recommended. And also, in addition to being intuitive, it's also controllable. They can adjust all these keywords. Okay, so this is possible simply because in GrantForward, researchers build their profiles. Okay, so these are profiles within your institution. So for example, each profile, this is the profile of a professor in computer science. This is the recommendation I showed you. So the main part of profile is many keywords such as data science, COVID-19, community detection. He has been doing research in about 20 years. This was 10 years ago, slightly different, but similar. It is because of these timeline-weighted keywords that allow us to know about what this researcher likes, okay, what keep him busy. Okay, and these keywords are extracted from his publications. And he told us where to find his publication, like this personal homepage of his. Okay, so many researchers take time, and I can show you example, say from other institution. Let's look at this PhD student, professor, and stuff. Let me. Okay, so yeah, so this is another researcher in, or looks like in history, in culture aspect. Good. Yeah, so monthly we send out about 50,000 such recommendation emails. And these recommendation emails are intuitive, are controllable, convincing. And this is possible simply because researchers build profiles. And researchers build profiles because number one is very useful. They receive recommendation as the first form of dissemination, or the second form being your newsletter. And this is also an easy process. It takes them just about 5 minutes. Okay. However, your faculty member may be so busy they don't have these 5 minutes. In that case, okay, that's why we encourage you to do this auto profile service. We call this ASAP service, and this is free of charge, in which GrantForward will systematically build the profile from your online faculty directory. Most likely, your institution has this public-facing faculty directory with all the public information about the people you have. Okay, so for example, this is a list of faculty in our computer science department at our university. Such a faculty directory often includes some information such as research interest and some of the selected publications. This is useful enough, rich enough that we can use that to build the profile for your members. So to take advantage of this free service so that you will disseminate in an individual way, we want to think about this as individualized newsletter. Okay, so this is about deployment. You can do this anytime. Then you can also set up single sign-on. So your faculty members, your users do not need to have separate account in GrantForward. They can just use your single sign-on to access GrantForward. We encourage you to organize public training webinar, but public only for your university, so we can help your members, students, faculty members to learn about GrantForward. So this is the first part of this webinar. I briefly go through this. Okay, so I briefly go through this deployment, and I have a question here that what is the default type of user when users sign up? Okay, there is a, when users sign up, there is a user type user type here. User can select them to be student or researcher. Default here is that it's not any of these. Okay, so this means that we don't specifically distinguish, but you should tell, well, I think this is intuitive enough. Student will be able to select this so that GrantForward will show different kind of grants. This is to make sure we have a set of default filters. Most important is the type of grant for student as the user or researcher as a user, because GrantForward is good for both of such audience and they actually look for different kind of grants. We will be happy to add more user type if you have this need to communicate with us. Okay, we've been thinking about, for example, postdoc researchers, okay, or research fellows, and this kind of different users. Okay. Can we access auto sign up by sending you bio sketches? Yes, that's what we need. And there are many ways you can communicate your faculty information to us. You can point us to your online faculty directory like this. Okay, you can simply tell us the URL. You can also send us a set, as you mentioned here, a set of CV or a bio sketch. They will be good. You can also send us a spreadsheet with information you filled in about your faculty names, email, and research interest. We'll be very happy to create the GrantForward profile based on the information you send us, and whatever way that work with you will work for us. Okay. There's a question about single sign-on. Okay, if you active, you will not affect emails. You will still use the same email for notification. So single sign-on is independent of email delivery. You will not affect that. Yeah. Okay, good. So now I think I want to get to the second part. The second part is about dissemination. Okay, we actually put this together with the deployment because we feel it's very important. This is like the getting started for administrators. So we put this in the same document here for sharing and disseminate the grants. As I mentioned earlier, 80% will maybe more of faculty members, they don't have time to actively look for grants. They rely on your dissemination. I have already introduced this GrantForward recommendation as one form of dissemination. This is individualized based on the research interest. So the key here is very relevant to each researcher. Monthly, we send out about 50,000 emails. We have surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, we have not heard about complaint that these are spams. Okay. If they complain is about, I am retired, I am no longer doing research, so I don't want to receive recommendation. It's not about that your recommendation is spam, okay, just because of all these keywords. However, another kind of dissemination is through administrators, is this kind of newsletters. This is a major means your faculty will learn about institutional important grants. Okay, grants that need your coordination, grants that deserve your recommendation. Okay, this is also a major responsibility of we administrators. We often send out multiple series of newsletter, not just multiple newsletter. So this is one series of newsletter. This is from Office of Research, and this is monthly. That's why it says July 2021. Okay, it has announcement, events, followed by grants categorized into different types. I want to show you another example. This is pretty recent. This is January 7, Friday. It says Friday because this one is weekly. It's from the same office. Okay, so it's from. Okay, so is there a best practice? No, I think people send out monthly newsletter. People send out weekly. I am still to hear about daily newsletter, but I can imagine that might be possible as well. Okay, depending on how much energy you have to serve your faculty. In fact, in some of our institution subscribers, they actually distribute this responsibility. they have not only the campus level office of sponsor program to disseminate such grants. They have college level, and this is already one example, College of Engineering. They even have department level grant liaison contact to actually build the grant short list. And that's the example I will use later when I show you how to build a website to disseminate grant. I will be assuming a college, a department of life sciences. Okay, so yes, yeah, you can do whatever interval on whatever subject, and often multiple subject, and your faculty members can sign up. They will not unsubscribe, I assure you. Okay, so yeah, so this is why we model the dissemination of newsletter. You can disseminate the newsletter in a regular workflow. Okay, so this is the second part here, part B. So I will talk about how you manage user, how you share grant list, and how you disseminate. Okay, so let me come to GrantForward. I will not talk much about the search. I assume you have this experience, this knowledge already about using GrantForward for search. I want to talk about how you use your result of search to build up your grant list. So here I'm at the GrantForward. GrantForward has many tabs. I already mentioned about administrator console. I talk about user management. Okay, this is the first step of dissemination. Okay, you want to know what user you have. Okay, you want to know what departments you have. Okay, I already introduced this. You can also build a custom group. These are faculty members who are interested in certain areas, say, you know, computer technology for STEM education or AI for medical science. You can click on this and you can add members to each group. This is different from a department. These are faculty members who are interested in similar subject, but from different departments. People who are interested in medical science and AI, maybe from different departments, maybe from computer science, maybe from biology, maybe even from crop science. Okay, that's why you build the group. Okay, so you do the first step of user management. Okay, next, okay, I want to show you, let me come back here, how you can build your grant list and disseminate. This will be a regular workflow. You can think about, we will be doing this weekly. Okay, so let me set everything. I will start with grant search. Okay, I will fill in, let's say I'm doing life sciences. This is a scenario I'm using. I want to, let's say, I want to create a grant list called the cross-cutting. So these are life sciences that mention computer, that mention engineering, mention information technology, mention material science, mention communication, mention social media. So I'm using a lot of additional keywords, any of the keywords. Okay, but the grant must be about life sciences. I do a search. Okay, I set the deadline to be in the coming days from May 1 to the end of June. Okay, the end of June. I adjust other keywords such as other filters such as amount to be big enough, 600. Okay, let's say 700K. Okay, so if I'm happy, okay, I save this as a research, a safe search template. Let's call it my weekly life science screening. I call it screening because I'm screening grant. Okay, I can receive alert. This means if there are new results, I will be notified. I save it. Okay, so as the benefit of a safe search, this is example, you will be informed of new results. Say you have one safe search, and it's called my COVID-19, and these are the new results. But in addition to this, Now we are talking about dissemination. So now imagine it's now Friday. You are preparing newsletter for the next Monday, next week. So I'm coming to GrantForward. I log in. Everything is blank now. I will load a search. I will load the search. I have already built my weekly life science screening. Okay, so I load it. So everything we filled in are now filled in. This is why safe search is useful, because you have curated, you have prepared a lot of good keywords as well as the filter conditions. Okay, so now you don't have to do this from scratch every time. You simply load it here. Later on, I will show you, you can actually share the good search you have created to your members. This is a kind of sharing and dissemination. You give them a fishing pole. The fishing pole here is your search template. They will do the fishing themselves. This is one way. Okay, I will show you later. You can also share with them other ways, like you can give them fishes. That's your grant list. Okay, so now I have loaded my search. I'm screening, so I look at this. Each one, if I like it, okay, say, oh, this one is interesting. I add it to my cross-cutting list. Okay, I've built many lists. I can create a new list as well. Say I'm creating a list for Professor Smith. He asked me some grants about life sciences used in engineering. So I'm doing this for him. So I add this. So you see, the purpose of grant search is really to do your short listing. In fact, short listing is whatever we do in the real world. We make a lot of decisions, selections, short listing. So that's how we do grant search. We build up our short list. Okay, so I have all these. So now the end result of this is I have built up many grant lists. I have just created the Professor Smith list. I have added a few grants to the cross-cutting list. Okay, I already have a list called limited submissions. All these are limited. You see, I have a different safe search for doing limited submissions. I also have other lists. So the end result of your search from search one query, one safe search, or multiple safe searches, I may be using different keywords. I use life sciences. I use medical sciences. I use disease prevention. I use STEM education. But I can all add the grants I have curated, I have selected based on my criteria of institutional importance or the strength area of my institution or my target audience, their interest area. So I built up many of these lists. How do I share this? How do I make use of this list? Well, the very basic way, you can export a list. I can export PDF. I can select the attribute I want to include or not include. Okay, so here, this is a PDF. This is very basic. Everywhere at the GrantForward, you will see the export button. It simply means that you can output, generate a report like this for the information you saw on that page. In this case, it's a list of grants. Okay, so I have a question about mini subscription. Yes, you can have up to 5 member profiles, or if you add accounts, yeah, there is as many as you add with some small additional cost. Okay, good. So, but this export is very basic. There are much better ways, and that's why we are doing this webinar today. The much better way is you as an administrator, you see this administrator console, you can share grant, deliver grants. So this is one way. Later on, I will show you newsletter. And later on, I will show you website. So let's first talk about grant delivery. There are 2 ways. You can share a curated grant template. Remember, we have created many safe search, such as cross-cutting or my weekly life science. Okay, I can select one, say cross-cutting for life science. I save it and add recipient. Now I am turning my safe search into a search I want to share with my members. This is a fishing pole so that they can do their fishing from the big pool, big ocean of the grants in GrantForward. So I can say I want to share with specific unit, such as a department of geography. Then everyone associated with Department of Geography will see this safe search available in their GrantForward account. I can also share this with a specific group. Okay, should I share with the group of STEM faculty interested in humanity? Of course, I can also share this with them with individual account. I can also, when I do sharing, I can also specifically indicate I want to send the new result alert email to the recipient. In other words, your recipient, in this case, they don't actually have to do the phishing. You will send them fishes regularly, such as every week. The new result matching that safe search, they will receive it just like you who set up the safe search. Okay, received by email. Okay, good. So this is about sharing safe search. You can share curated grant list. Okay, this means what? You are sharing them directly, your fish bucket. Whatever you put into this bucket, this list, the new fishes or the old fishes you have removed will be gone. Okay, in other words, they will always be viewing an up-to-date grant list as you build it. Okay, so I want to share a grant list. Let me select a grant list. I have a grant list called the Disability Fellowship Grant. Okay, so I save it and add recipient. From here, it's all the same as you share the same process as you share the curated list. Add, share. Okay, so now this list, however, remember the list is in grants under grant list here. I have the list that say the list I just shared is this disability fellowship grant. Okay, whenever I make any change, such as I remove this grant or I add a new grant, the members who you share to, they will view this. So where will they view this? They will see this in their home page. When they log into GrantForward, they will see the curated search shared to them. They will see the curated grant list shared to this user. Okay, they will also see the newsletter. It's all here. Okay, I should have some example here. Apologize. Okay, so now let me go to the grant delivery. I want to show you how you can do a further step of building newsletter. So all this sharing either happen in email through sending the list from GrantForward or through their running template, search template. Okay, they may have to come to GrantForward. So now I want to talk about newsletter. Newsletter record is this kind of communication media. Okay, here you from the Office of Research prepare weekly funding opportunity list or monthly Office of Research newsletter. Here you even include extra content in addition to grants. Extra content here about announcement. Okay, announcements such as call for presenters for the fall semester. Okay, so how do we do this? This is a new capability we have added since the middle of last year. It's becoming very, very popular. We have heard many institutions say that they found the value of GrantForward significantly increased because now they are using it as a tool to really disseminate, to amplify. Well, in a sense, an administrator using this capability really is to amplify the value of GrantForward to a multitude through your dissemination. Your faculty learn the useful grants. How to do that? You start with creating a series. Let me create a series. Let's call this series called UIUC Illinois, that's my university, limited submission announcement. And let's just call it this. Okay, I will say this is monthly. So I put this here. This is name of a series. I will give you a subject, the same as here, and I can add the date, full date. So if we send it today, it will show April 14th, 2022. But you will send this at a different time for your different instance of a series. You will show different date. I need to load a boilerplate, which means the consistent template of your newsletter. We have many default format. You can use any one you like. You can also just copy paste your existing newsletter format from your emails. It will just work. Copy them into your newsletter. So now I use this boilerplate number 3. So I want to customize it. I don't want to say GrantForward. What do I want to say? I want to put our logo. So I'm sure you want to put your logo as well. So let me use this image. So this will be sending from your office. You will look just like your office with your identity and stuff. Okay, they say College of Engineering. Okay, I don't need to say the unit. Okay, funding opportunity list. I want to change this name. This is, this is limited submission announcement. Okay, full date is okay. Newsletter section, let's say we have some announcement. Okay, so I will delete this section. I don't need this. Now I want to say grant. This is limited submissions. Okay, you can do any further tailoring, such as changing this logo as well. Let me change this. Okay, fine. So next, so we have the format for the newsletter. You want to have the format for each grant. I want the grant title to be red. I want the key information to be in bullet. I want the deadline to be emphasized, so I highlight it with, say, pink. Okay, this is how each grant will be formatted. You can set the default recipient. You can set the other things. Let's save it. Good. So now, when it comes to, so you only do that series once. It's only one-time job. So next is you want to create a newsletter. So I create it. So now it's Friday. I've just finished updating my search and collected some new grants in my grant list. That's why next is to actually generate a newsletter for next week. So I will call out, let's say, we just do this Illinois limited submission announcement. Everything is filled in, the title and the format with the logo, announcement, limited submission announcement. And now here, okay, so let me first say announcement, say happy spring break. Okay. Add any announcement, you can skip this as well. Limited submission is the purpose of this newsletter. So I will simply insert from my grant list. I can insert from any grant list. I happen to have a limited submission list. Okay, so I insert from limited submission. All the limited submission I have curated into my grant list. Okay, it doesn't have to be just any limited submission. It's a limited submission I care. So they are here. Okay, I can make any changes, such as I can make this become more concise. The summary become more concise, and so on. I can delete any grant, and if I like it, I preview it. It says Illinois limited submission announcement monthly April 14, blah blah. Okay, so I can copy content to clipboard, and I can send it from GrantForward. Let's see, I can send it from my email. Sorry, I'm looking for my here. Yep, so this is, I can send it from my email system, so it's pretty flexible. If you don't want to send through GrantForward, or I can send it, save newsletter and send it through GrantForward. I can schedule a date, such as I want to send out next Monday, because today is just Friday. Well, today is Thursday. Yeah, so I can send out next Monday at a certain time, like 8 o'clock. Okay. So now, good. So this is how you create newsletter and you announce it through your email or through our system. GrantForward will collect the feedback from your users. So they are thumb up, thumb down. They receive it, they can thumb up, thumb down the whole newsletter. We are adding support so they can give feedback to each specific grant. Okay. So now I want to show you the third part. The third part is not on this handout. It's on the other handout. It's how to embed GrantForward. Well, not this one. How to embed the grant list and the newsletter. I will show you the result first before I show you how to do that. So you can see this is a different browser. Not the browser I use for demoing. This is my university browser. It says University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. Okay, so this is supposed to be a website at my institution. Okay, it doesn't look like from GrantForward. It's actually a website of your institution. You can have this website at your office of sponsor program, at your student grant service fellowship office, or at your VP research, or even each department. And this one I created for the Department of Life Science. Okay, so I want to have this website to announce funding opportunities. I think relevant to my members, my life science members. So here I have upcoming grants. Is empty because I want to show you how to do this. I leave this empty. I also have a newsletter. These are newsletter I have sent out through the system. This is the latest newsletter because your faculty member thought your newsletters are useful. They often go back to check your newsletter, and this is a web portal for you to archive your newsletter. So this is the latest I sent out just today, Thursday, April 14th. I just created this together with you. So this should look familiar. Happy spring break events, the limited submission grant, the cross-cutting grant. These are newsletter. I can also view the last episode. This was April 8th. This was last week. This has different grants, of course, yeah. So I have a limited submission. This one is why I want to do it with you as well. I have a cross-cutting. Well, how do I get this cross-cutting? Let me use this to show you. So first, let me show you from the result. Then I will show you how to do that. This cross-cutting tab, this is simply I embed a grant list. So let's go to the grant list. I have a list called the cross-cutting, right? Earlier, I showed you that you can share this cross-cutting or any list to your members. They will see the up-to-date content of your list. So now I'm showing you, you can embed this in your website. So you see this is the first grant, advanced research, advancing research. The second grant, dissemination and implementation. The second grant, dissemination and implementation is ordered differently. The next one is the Centers for Disease Control, the Center for Disease Control. Okay, so yeah, so your list is now presented through your website, okay, at the URL of your institution. And if they click on each grant, they will be taken to GrantForward to view the detail. Okay, so so here, this is embedding a grant list. The newsletter here is embedding the newsletter episode that you have sent. This is pretty easy. After you have created your newsletter, okay, see, I have 4 series of newsletter. Each series, so for example, this one, I can actually embed it. I can simply copy paste this code. Okay, so I have some questions related to search. I will answer them later. Yeah. Okay, good. So I can use just this embed button. I can copy paste this. Let me show you how to do this. Okay, so now this upcoming, I want to show this tab. This is grant that will be due soon, say in a month. So these are upcoming grants. I decided to embed this as a search result by keywords, okay, and also by deadline. So let me go to search. I actually have a safe search called the upcoming. I have an upcoming grant. So this is about life sciences with all the keywords, and it's called about upcoming because it is grants that will be due in the next 2 months from May to the end of June. I want to sort them by deadline. Okay, so the first one is May 1 here, the next deadline, May 1, okay? So let me update, I want to update this upcoming list. I make some changes. So now I want to embed the search result here. This 239 is the result today. Next week, it might be 250. However, I want to embed the search result to this upcoming tab here. So how do I do this? Okay, so let me again come to grant delivery. Okay, so I will create a sharing of search template from my safe search. I will say the upcoming. Okay, so all the parameters are displayed for my reference. Save it. Okay, so now I want to come here. This is the new search template sharing I have created. I want to look at the embed here. Again, upcoming grant for life sciences. I will copy this. So this is all I need to add to my website. Where is my website? I have my website open here. My website is actually WordPress. Many administrators, they are not programmers. They use WordPress to build their website, or you can consult your IT how to do this change. Okay, I want to come to the upcoming page. I want to edit it. I want to add this custom HTML code. I copy paste the script I copied from GrantForward. I update it. Okay, it's supposed to be. So now I'm coming to the upcoming. Previously it was empty, but now it shows upcoming grants for life sciences. These are grants, for example, due May 07, May 08, June 05. And this is the result now. Next Monday, if you open this page again, you will show different results because this is from search template. This is dynamic search. So here I'm embedding the result of a search, okay, at my university website. Next, I want to embed a grant list called the limited submission. Okay, say if you have curated your limited submission list, this is important because your members should know about what needs to be coordinated through internal competition for limited submission. I want to announce it here. So this one, I will not use safe search. I will use grant list because I want to curate the result, only the limited submission that I care about. So I will choose them. That's why we have grant list, right? So I will go to the grant delivery, curated grant list. I will say this is limited submission is already here. So now this limited submission grant list is already created for sharing. I can simply say I want to embed it. Again, it gives me the embed code. So now let me go to my WordPress. I find my limited submissions page. I update, add code. This code copied from GrantForward again, but this time it's for a curated list. Okay, so now let's go to limited submission. So now this limited submission is the list of grants I curated in my limited submission list. Okay, so your members, when they visit this page, they will see the up-to-date content you put on your limited submission. So this way, now I have, together with you, I have created this website with upcoming. These are grants that will be due soon. That's called upcoming, and this is from safe search. Every time you search the result of a new search, not curated by me, I created only the search parameters. Newsletter, this is simply the embedding of the newsletter, a specific series called the Life Sciences Grant Newsletter. This is the latest I sent out today. I can also view the previous one here, say last week, April 8th. Okay, Limited submission. This is embedding from curated list. Okay, so just an advertisement here. Next month, we will do a webinar on how to handle limited submission within your institution. We have added the capability based on popular requests from administrators to manage the submission from your members for applying to limited submission grants. Stay tuned. Okay, so this is curated list, and cross-cutting is also curated list. Good. So this is the third part of our discussion, how to embed the grant list and the newsletter. So these are the three parts. I first talk about deployment, link to GrantForward, announce, doing auto profile service. And the second part, I talk about how you can search, build up short list of grant and share grant list or share search template and build a newsletter. And the third part, finally, I talk about how you embed the grant list or newsletter to create a website where your members, student or faculty can easily find the grants that you want them to know. Good. Let me now go over the chat window questions. Can we send a full access if we only have admins with subscription access right now? All the grants you put on your website, anyone can access, even external external users who are not members. Click on any grant you announce at your website, they can also view the detail at GrantForward. Okay, and if you are asking about inviting more users to join GrantForward, yes, you can do that anytime through sending an announcement email. And depending on your subscription class, usually you can add unlimited number of members as long as they have your institutional email address, such as illinois.edu. But if you have mini subscription, then you can add a specific number of new accounts you want to create with some small additional charge. Okay, good. Does this answer your question? Okay, so the next question is, there are ways to tie certain words together. Yes, this is called phrase search, because I didn't emphasize search today. So you may not see. So here, I already have an example here. I want to search public health. Let me reset to default. Let me search just public health. So I put a double quote here, public health. So the result will have to mention public health together, not individual words. Okay. I think I've answered other questions. Do we have more questions? You can use chat. You can also just unmute. Looks like either you are hungry or I have answered all the questions. I'm hungry too. Okay, so yeah, so thank you for attending this webinar. Your input is always important to us. We have just released this a lot of new features here about this website. We love to hear your feedback. Please start using it. I'm sure you will run into bugs and we'll be happy to fix them. Okay, so when today's Thursday, so weekend is coming. Everyone has a happy coming weekend, and thanks for attending. Bye-bye.